Well, here we are, back podcasting again. It's always very exciting to see you again, 2 weeks after the last one. Now, we have some very special guests today. And just to kind of clue everyone up to that, just to sort of increase the excitement and anticipation of our very special guests, and to help people think about what it might be that we're talking about. Today, really important starting the podcast question is this. James, Adam, what was your favourite childhood toy?
Can I have more than one, James?
You can have one, and he can have one, and then you can come back in.
Okay. All right. My first one, if I wind back to the far-off days of the early 1980s, a particular favourite, I caught the tail end of the Action Men toys.
Oh, okay.
The fairly big figures.
Yeah.
They were sort of on the way out by the sort of early 80s, and my poor old mum was scouring far-flung toy shops around Doncaster and the marketplace too, because it was increasingly hard to get hold of this stuff.
Yeah.
But I did have 2 or 3 Action Men and various, some of the big
Eagle Eyes?
One of them had eagle eyes, and you could sort of cock his head as well,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you rip his wires from upstairs windows to send them down?
No, I never did that, Adam. No, I didn't have the parachute.
We had a parachute for an Action Man once. It was absolutely rubbish.
Although James
May actually speeded up his fall.
We might have used shopping bags.
James May did get it to work. He did it on one of his programs.
I bet it took him like about 3
Well, they had to go up in an aircraft. So it wasn't actually high enough, ironically, for it to work, but there you go. Action Man was
absolute rubbish parachute.
Yeah, was a
kids' challenges to overcome.
Yeah, but the challenges ought to be overcomeable.
Yeah.
Anyway, right, that's your first one.
That's my first one. Yeah.
Such a nerve for James already.
Yeah, it doesn't take long, does it?
I grew up with 2 older brothers, so there was lots of stuff in the house, but what springs to mind apart from my middle brother's Thunderbirds Tracy Island, which was phenomenal, was a kind of wooden castle thing with lots of little toy soldiers and bits and bobs and horses and stuff, so that was fabulous.
Okay.
And a similar foldable pirate ship thing is being with my nephews at the moment.
But you're obviously, you grew up with them, you presumably didn't do battles with them, did you? They probably just did farming and chatting to one another.
How old do you think I am?
I thought battles and soldiers went out. We were allowed to play with toy soldiers. I didn't think your generation was. Did you not it wasn't like a farming game? Did you not think about how to improve?
I don't think the farming games that you're probably thinking of existed yet.
No, maybe not.
So no, we had battles and soldiers and knights and Red Sea Lewis, and it was all okay.
Oh yeah, okay. As long as you're fine. That's good, isn't it? Yeah. Thanks for asking mine. Lego from the beginning. Lego certainly for the first kind of for the 7 years, being from about 4 to about 11 or 12, 8 years. And Lego was definitely always the toy of choice, and it was always the kind of it wasn't so much what do you want for Christmas, is which Lego model would you like for Christmas? Yeah. And I'm not finished talking yet. There was a George Henry Lee's in Liverpool. George Henry Lee's in Liverpool, which was the John Lewis branch in Liverpool. On the third floor had a toy area, which once I got dragged around Liverpool for like a couple of hours, I would get 5-10 minutes. That's what it felt to me in the toy store, coveting Lego models. That was quite my childhood. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Well, you can still covet Lego models because we've seen they now make kind of executive bankers bonus Lego models.
There's a lot. Like a lot of toys. There's a lot of toys that are clearly not made for children.
Yes.
Yeah,
quite excitingly.
Yeah. Well, they're good models, but there's a lot of toys from my childhood you can now get in. I was going to say in adult versions, but I don't mean that. I mean that you can actually get like much more expensive, much more intricate. Yeah. But yeah, that's toys. Good. And you're going. What was your second one?
Yeah, well, the second one was Star Wars.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because that was still a thing when we moved to Doncaster in 1980, and they still had the first Star Wars on the cinema, despite the fact that it's been out for about 30 years.
Yeah.
So you mentioned toy stores, James. A ritual for me and my sister, because our birthdays were sort of within a week or two of each other. We used to go down to this place called Redgates in Sheffield on the train with your birthday money. Do you remember the old sort of blue and white £5 notes?
Yeah.
With Richard Untold in.
You could get a lot for that.
Yeah, so we go in and they had Star Wars figures, you know,
Oh, yeah.
go around and find the particular one that you wanted.
Did you remember to leave any of them in boxes?
No,
That was your mistake.
If I had,
Did you buy 2? Leave 1 box. All the stupid things we didn't do as kids.
And if I had, I wouldn't be working here doing
No,
this.
that's true. Well, no, we're on that note. So you'll have to now guess who we're going to hear from as we hand over to our special guests.
So welcome to Emma, Ruth and Peter, all of whom are involved in a wonderful Tots group who come and invade on a Friday morning and brighten up Liz and my life considerably. Thank you so much for coming in. We're going to ask you a little bit about Tots, see if you can give us a picture of what it is like, and let us know how we can support it, pray for it, understand what on earth goes on. Why have we got a Tots group? Where's it come from? And what's it up to?
Well, Tots is actually an acronym that stands for Time Out for Toddlers Carers. Basically it was set up because after my kids were little and in school, I foolishly said, I am never running a Tots group. And it just seemed there was a need for one, and I got Peter and I got Ruth on board, and we had a meeting at my house, and Peter was at the meeting, so Peter can take it from here.
Peter said, why am I at this meeting? And, I've organised lots of stuff, so there's a little bit of that in me, but I'm also a dad, I'm also a grandfather, and not many years ago I came here with my grandchildren and benefited from Mothers and Toddlers group. And because I have grandchildren at school, I know lots of mums, and my wife and my daughter, who's a mum, always look for places to be able to get out of the house and talk to adults and have a safe place for their children to come to. So with that background, it's why I wanted to get involved, and I absolutely love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember being very lonely when I first had babies at home. You know, it was a small village. I worked outside of it, so you lose your job, you lose all those contacts, and there you are with this child to look after. So yeah, when Emma sort of mentioned the opportunity, I just went for it. And it is great fun. I think that's the most important thing. We do have fun, don't we?
Yeah, we do have a lot of fun.
It definitely looks like it.
Yeah, and all of the crafts and our role really is to play with the children, so that mums can talk to other mums, or sometimes it's to talk to a mum. But it's we are discovering the more playful side of ourselves, I think, and getting up from the floor is always going to be a challenge. But it's a challenge we gratefully accept.
I think it's worth mentioning that most of them are mums, but there are some carers there.
Yeah.
There's some dads, young dads, which is great, and some grandparents as well. It's open to everybody, not just mums. And each of those little sections feel very comfortable coming, don't they? Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. It's been really nice to be around Tots and see how there's all these regular little children who have now an Auntie Emma and an Uncle Peter and Auntie Ruth, because they know you and trust you, come with a big smile, and they know which biscuits are best, and that you guys I'll probably let them have one more. And also to see how you're also kind of auntie or uncle or big brother or sister to lots of mums and dads as well, and that community's gorgeous. It's lovely. Okay then, what have been maybe some best bits or highlights or some stuff that's encouraged you or exciting bits?
I think for me one of our greatest challenges actually turned out to be one of our greatest blessings as well, which was I'm going to get shot for saying this, but actually the flood in 2023 really helped us, because we were able to set up quite quickly in St Paul's in Little Eaton, and that has led to new mums come in that wouldn't have heard of us, and a new Tots group in St Paul's. So that is it's a massive silver lining.
Yeah.
It was also a really huge cloud, but I never ever thought I would say that I was grateful for a flood, but it did open my eyes to being able to do it somewhere else. So I think that was a challenge, but turned out to be a blessing.
I think the real blessing for me is when I meet them out in the street, at the swings.
Yeah.
Firstly, because there's someone I know, and that's quite rare because we haven't been here so long. And then this little face that sort of smiles, and and we had a few sessions during last summer holiday when we met in the river garden in Belper, and that was really wonderful. And the weather was okay, thank you, and we just had a good time on the swings and standing around chatting and cuddling the new baby. It was good, yeah.
I think it might be worth starting by saying, what do we do? And we open up at 10 o'clock for 2 hours, and anybody can come, doesn't cost anything for anybody, and we do it on a Friday morning. And the reason we do it on a Friday morning, if I can remember, that meeting that we had, who's free? When we're free, we looked at that, well, sort of Fridays tended to be free, and that was the logic.
And when there wasn't anything else on around.
And it happens to be, I didn't know that, I don't know if you
Right.
knew, but lots of mums go on a day-by-day basis, and it turns out there was nothing on a Friday. So, prayers were answered in a way, and so the adults come with their children, and there's loads of games put out for them, and there's a craft put out for them which changes, and there's a story at the end which has a biblical theme but in a soft delivered way, and always music, and there's hot drinks and cold drinks and cakes and not cakes, sometimes cake, biscuits and snacks and fruits for the children. So the challenge for me was, what do we deliver? What are people looking for? And we happen to have a recipe that just works, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does.
The mums say to us they love it because they're welcomed. Every time they come, they're welcomed. Which I'm thinking, well, you do that, don't you?
Yeah.
But you don't. They don't. But they are with ours. And for the children, one of the highlights is the fact that they can have their snacks immediately they come through the door, rather than having to wait until afterwards.
And in the middle and at the end.
And in the middle and at the end.
Continuously, they can snack.
Yes.
So the challenges, I know this is a cliche, but the challenges have been real opportunities. How can we make ourselves more welcoming, and how do we get people through the doors in the first place? And once we've got a few, then a load of the mums or the carers brought others, didn't they? And it's just grown. And what's the most we've ever had in a over 22 children and an equal number of adults,
which really fills up that room.
Which really fills up the room.
It's very nice.
And the noise level is just off the scale.
But it's glorious.
It's wonderful.
Glorious.
Yes, it's
we
lovely.
all go home so full up. And then
fabulous.
last Friday it was really quiet, so there's no rhyme or reason to it.
But it was equally lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because you just had a lot more time to play with an individual child or to talk to a mum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was lovely.
It's really, really fantastic, yeah. The little Eaton group, just because you've mentioned it, I was there this morning, it's lovely. That started after the St Albans one, and the first few weeks it was very little.
Yeah.
And some people turned up to help and went, oh, what if no one comes? And after a month, everyone was going, what if anyone else comes? It's huge.
Yeah.
So it's been awesome to see the growth and the warmth of it. It's gorgeous. Okay, with all that in mind, is there anything you want to share that's been quite tricky, that's been challenging, that you maybe kind of warn people, ooh, this can happen?
I think we can, because we're volunteer run, we can struggle if somebody last minute drops out. We're also, because we're volunteer run, can't make somebody come if they really don't want to. So it's sort of just keeping an eye on who's available and who's not. But that's I wouldn't have it any other way, probably. It would be great. We had it a little bit at Christmas, but it would be great to be able to do something that would be really just for tots in the church. Trying to get tots into a church service sometime, but it's in the back of our minds and we're developing that. But yeah, but that's just because we like being around them.
That's great. Could you tell us a tiny bit about what happened at Christmas? People who don't know.
Highlight of some people's years, I think.
It was Emma's idea.
It's my fault.
We had this, let's call it an experience.
Knowing Emma is an experience.
The tot of it. So basically, we went through the Christmas story, didn't we, at Little Eaton in the church. We took the children and we were greeted by the grumpiest innkeeper's wife. And so it went on. We met the shepherds. You were a shepherd, weren't you? And then we saw the heavenly host, the angels up in the garden.
They were spectacular.
They were
With soundtrack as well.
Oh, beautiful. We met the kings who'd lost their camels. I mean, who can lose a camel? There you go. So very kindly we searched them out and took them back. And then we went round the corner and there was the baby Jesus with his mummy and daddy. And we had a real baby. And the kids, their faces, they were just like, and the mums too, and the dads. Yeah, it was just amazing.
And the church was just decked out beautifully.
Yeah.
That star with the
Over
the curtain
those
coming down,
table,
it was
yeah,
just amazing.
beautiful, and all the lights in it.
Yeah. So yeah, the church went to town,
They
and
did.
we were really fortunate with the grown-ups that we got to come along. And it was the grown-ups doing the nativity for the children rather than the other way around. So probably the first time I've done a nativity where Joseph didn't wet himself. But,
Nerves get to
as it was James Monroe, it was still touch and go.
It's like, excuse me.
And then at the end you just said a few words, didn't you, to give the whole thing a bit of context?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really fun. Then we went back up for a picnic, and then Santa turned up.
He did. You've had good luck with him over the years. He's quite busy around that time.
Yes, I understand, but it's just the power I have.
If you think across the two tots in the two churches, we would have typically, let's just say 30 adults coming. And I'm going to guess a small handful would be regular churchgoers. So the majority of them aren't used to church, but they come to us and they stay for the Bible Centre story. That was one of the points about going into the church, to get people into our church. Oh, this is beautiful, isn't it? Didn't realise it was so nice. Lovely.
And welcoming.
And welcoming.
Yeah.
And that's, we're working on that, aren't we?
Yes,
Slowly, quietly.
We did like the teddy bear hunt, didn't we, in the church at Little Eaton, where we found the picture of Ockman Bear, and we did an Easter egg trail, didn't we, here?
Yes.
An Easter. So, and there's one little boy who likes to finish his morning by just having a wander through the church, even if Mummy's in a hurry.
Yes. Is it to go down well?
No.
Fantastic. Well, we've got 2 questions left to ask you, but the next one is, I'd love to know if there's anything you can think of. What would you love Tots to look like a year down the line?
Personally, I would like Tots. I'm gonna get shot. I would like Tots to look like an all-day event with Tots group in the morning, picnic lunch for anyone who wants to stay, and then for anyone who's got babies who nap in the pram, doing a Bible study or some kind of one-to-one in the afternoon in the hall. That might be 5 years, it might be 10 years, but doing some kind of course or some kind of, that's my, if somebody was going to say I can make your dreams come true, what would that be? I would love to open the Bible with more mums, because I think it's brilliant.
Awesome.
Yeah, but I think even if we're just surviving and carrying on as we are, that's going to be quite an achievement, just to keep the momentum going.
But also, we're not surviving; we're thriving.
Well, we are, yes,
and
we are
far
thriving.
better than we thought we would.
Yeah.
So,
and just to maybe get more of the church family involved.
Yes.
There's been occasions when people have just dropped in to see what's going on, and I think more of that
that'd be great.
would be very valuable.
Yeah, definitely.
There's one thing we're really hearing is that you just have fun.
We do.
And even people who didn't turn up at church and look around and say, is there a Tots group I can join? I've always wanted to do Tots groups. More people who've seen it and gone, well, I'll give it a go. And it turns out it's a joy. So that's great to hear, and hopefully might encourage some more people to think, maybe even I would enjoy.
Yeah, I mean,
play full of biscuits on a Friday morning.
There's hand printing and potato printing. What is not to like? Seeing the 3-year-old covered in paint is hilarious.
I think one of the highlights was seeing the daddies all standing around playing with the Play-Doh. They were chatting away with handfuls of Play-Doh.
It took us ages to clean up after.
It was just wonderful.
If people are thinking about maybe give it a go to help out, they don't necessarily need to be brilliant at dealing with children or dealing with mums. They can do some washing up. At the end, there's a floor to sweep. There's tables to put out, and there's all the practical stuff.
Yeah, you can support kids without meeting children.
If you're nervous about it, and some people will be, of course.
Yeah, getting all the furniture out and all the toys out.
Yeah, it's heavy lifting.
It's a workout in itself. We're ready for that.
Mainly because somebody makes us put tables and uses up half of our cupboard. But anyway, that's for another time.
We're going to get to an episode of the hall layout really soon.
I want to be in.
If someone has heard about this and is wondering what to do next to try it out, Emma, should they just come and speak to you?
Helpers or children?
Helpers first.
Talk to
just
me.
come
Talk
chat
to Peter.
to Anna or Peter or and say I might like to try Tots. Or it sounds funny, I just want to watch for a week and then go home.
Lie down.
Lie down.
Brilliant. How can we pray for you guys and support you?
Well, I think that's one of the things, isn't it? More helpers. Are always welcome.
We always pray for the Spirit to be there and for the light to shine, and for that light to shine on more and more people that come. I'm absolutely certain that they know they're in church, and they know that there are people from the church helping and us, and I suppose that puts, well, it does put a responsibility on us to make sure that we do our best all the time and keep our cool and are charming and smiley and whatever. So that's always something to be prayed for as well.
I think practically as well, isn't it, for safety and strength?
Yes.
I think just that God would use everything that we've got for His purposes. Yes, it's a Tots group. Yes, we paint. Yes, we play with cars. But we don't know we don't know the state of people when they arrive. Just that would be everything. One of the best. You'll probably cut this, but one of the best. One of the best incidents that we had was. We had a little girl who had a febrile convulsion. I am not recommending that people have these in their group, but what the mum saw was the church's care of the mum and the child. And I don't know that we could have demonstrated that any other way. We all went home and cried because it was really scary. Apart from Ruth, who knows about all these things.
I'm still crying.
Just get out of the way.
I don't think I got home.
But I God used that and continues to use that to demonstrate care, and just that we continue to do that, hopefully in a less dramatic way. But yeah, I think a bad session, well, I don't think we've ever had a bad session yet, but if we did have a bad session, there's something to learn from that. And just that we keep listening and keep loving people, and that we won't grow tired of it, and start thinking that it was better then. Just that that we have that freshness, and that we have engaging ideas that will.
So just remind me how long we've been going.
We started in February 2023.
So that's 2 years.
Yeah, we're doing it.
And I would say we're even more enthusiastic now than before.
Yes, yeah. We've seen so many answers to prayer. We've seen so many people come through, and at Little Eaton Tots last week there was a little boy who is really, really shy, and we were doing sleeping bunnies. Sorry, that's a technical term. You have to finish on sleeping bunnies. If you don't sing it twice, they don't go home. That poor kid who stayed here a week. This kid, this little lad, suddenly stood up before I shouted, "Wake up, bunnies!" Well, we should finish with a version of it, shouldn't we? But before I shouted, "Wake up, bunnies," he stood up and he went, and I went, and his childminder said, "Oh, he's doing cock-a-doodle-doo." So now it's his group, and he does before we shout, "Wake up, bunnies!" But she said he's really come into his own, and it's his. And there was a pushchair last week. I don't know if there was a pushchair this week, but he turned it into a chariot.
Smash
very quickly.
Which was just crazy when they got the jousting sticks out.
Yeah, it was a bit much. Yeah, I need to hide those.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much again for visiting us and for having so much encouragement to bring. Can we wrap up with one question, which is a sillier question, which is, if you remember one, what was a favourite childhood toy?
Mine was Scale Extra.
Oh,
great answer.
My wonderful father-in-law used to ask for it every Christmas and never got it. And my sister-in-law's boyfriend brought round his old Electrics recently for Derek to play with, and that is some of the best prospective son-in-law points scoring I've ever seen. A good toy.
I think mine was my bike. I really remember getting my bike and my dad taking it out and I was trying to teach me to run. Yeah.
Mine was a little puppet doll. It was called Wurzel. I've still got parts of him. He had little discs of material that were threaded through some elastic for his arms and his legs and his body, and he had this head in his hands, and his feet were made out of this really soft material that I used to rub across my lip, and I had Wurzel for a very long time. I left a pen on him, which made it look like I'd given him a black eye. So that's what love looks like. I'll bring the box and tip it out. You can see what love looks like.
Smashing. Thank you all so much again. We better wrap up there. Thanks for listening, everybody. And do ask these folks more about Tots and how you can go along and enjoy the fun.
Well, there we are. I think I need to go and lie down in a dark room after that. That was very exciting, and we look forward to more special guests over the coming weeks. We're going to finish there because I think that's probably enough from us for today. The only thing we need to say is next time, do look forward to one of us who will be revealing their path into ministry.
A path into ministry.
Their path into ministry. That's very exciting.
There's a thought to linger on and finish on.
Thank you. Yes, quite.